The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Good afternoon, class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy podcast, your source for nerddom news and commentary. I said that the KNR Christmas special was going to be the last upload of the year, and I am a liar. We are here to talk about the brand new Superman trailer, so I am not going to waste any time. This is a big episode for us. This will be our last upload of the year. And if you have not yet, go check out the Knights of the Nerd Republic Christmas special, where we're joined by Alden Diaz, where he explains to us why Obi-Wan Kenobi is a Star Wars Christmas story. But we're not talking Star Wars here today. We are talking Superman, and I am joined by the one, the only, our resident Green Lantern without a bowl cut, one Travis Grossman.
Actually, I'm wearing the beanie specifically to hide the bowl cut. You just can't. I can't reveal it. I'm under NDA. It's a whole thing.
I should also mention recent college graduate Travis Grossman.
Got my degree in Superman trailers, so perfect timing.
Oh man. But yeah, well, first of all, congratulations. That is the first thing. That is the first thing. Congratulations. You know, everybody give Travis a round of applause in the comments down below. Yes. Yeah.
Sensational.
It's gonna be a big nut bust.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker. This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker.
Burp.
The mouse pad got stuck.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, one more for the one time. Very bomb bad to graduate from college.
Yes.
But yes. Very exciting stuff on all fronts. Before we jump into the trailer talk, one little brief word from our sponsors at Sunday's Bloody Mary. You guys know the drill. Sunday's Bloody Mary has the most badass Bloody Mary accoutrement in the multiverse with their 3-time award-winning spicy Caesar mix, as well as their mild and traditional mixes if the spice ain't for you. You can also go ahead and get their pickled dilly beans, okra, and asparagus if you want to garnish that bad boy and get your freak on with some rim salt. This former bartender trusts in no Bloody Mary mix other than Sundays. It is the only Bloody Mary mix that can surpass a homemade from-scratch Bloody Mary. So go to the link in the description, sundaysbloodymary.com/shop. Use code TEENAP at checkout to get 10% off your order and help out your favorite nerds while you do it. Travis, how are we feeling about this Superman trailer?
I cried immediately.
You cried?
Immediately. Yeah, it's so good. Oh my God. It's perfect. It's everything I expected out of a James Gunn Superman put in a trailer.
Yeah. I will say, and I was surprised by this, I knew a lot of people who were crying. You and I have a habit of like avoiding talking about this stuff before we go to air. Like that's kind of been like a silent agreement where like, especially because you and I have such a good like bead on how the other one feels about a lot of this stuff before we even talk to the other one. Like pre the podcast, like when we would talk about nerd shit, like it would be like, oh, you think this? I figured you did. Was typically the way things went. So we make a point of avoiding these conversations beforehand to save it for air. And I knew you would cry. A bunch of my friends cried. Friends of the show, Bill Sheehy, Alden Diaz, we were all in a group chat and we were all talking about the Superman trailer and they were like, they were talking about how they were crying. Alden said he watched it on a loop that day. Like he sat down, made breakfast, watched the trailer for like an hour, and then went off and did something else, and then sat down and watched the trailer like 3 or 4 more times. I hate how this is gonna sound. I loved the trailer.
You thought it was woke garbage. I get it.
I thought it
but
was woke garbage. I thought it was trash. Woker man is here to save the day.
too colorful, too gay.
Too colorful, too gay. See, I wanted to play the Roger Stone. I'm sick of people calling me a grifter clip. Oh, there it is.
I'm sick of being called a grifter.
We're playing all the clips today, guys. But I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I was expecting. You know,
Yeah.
like in it, like not in a like, oh, I was underwhelmed by it. It was just
You were
like
properly whelmed. Like it exactly
Yeah.
met. You were like, no, I have the highest bar possible. I don't know the highest bar, but like you were like, this is where I expect it to be, and it got there, and you went, yeah.
yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. For me, like the excitement for, please God, can we do Superman on the big screen right just once, has been one of those like, oh, come on, man. And it's like, if I could use a different like nerd milestone in my life as a comparison, you know, I would almost, in terms of like my reaction to this trailer, I would compare it to like, I would maybe compare and contrast it to the second trailer for Captain America Civil War, where everything was, where is Spider-Man? Where is Spider-Man? Like, we know he's coming. This is a big deal. We're finally getting Peter Parker in the MCU. Like, we're like this big thing is finally happening. And I remember vividly, I could tell you everything about what was going on that day. Where I was when the trailer dropped, I watched it in my broadcast class back in high school, with former movie club co-host Devin Armel, where we were sitting there and we were watching it, and the way I almost started jumping up and down when Peter showed up. And that had so much gravitas because there was always this tension of like, will they ever be able to bring Spider-Man into the MCU? Will it ever happen? You know, and this was, even though we knew going into that trailer, like it is happening, we were still waiting for almost that confirmation that it was real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think another like way higher up bar of, oh my God, it's real. Oh my God, it's happening. You go back to like Force Awakens marketing of like, 10 years ago was supposed to be the last movie, and there's another one coming, and oh God, I hope it's everything I imagine Star Wars is, and then waiting to see that and being like, oh my God, Star Wars is back. So like those are like, like for me, like that second trailer for The Last Jedi is like the moment I like, but maybe one of like my highest zeniths as a Star Wars fan. All of those kind of exist in their own like, holy shit, it's real moments. I think I had my holy shit, it's real moment for this movie with like the suit announcement and like set photos, and I don't say that to take away from the trailer and like how beautiful this trailer. And we're going to talk all about like how this trailer like embodies what you and I know a lot of other people who love DC Comics have been begging for a depiction of Superman on the big screen. But for me, I almost had this moment of like, yeah, this is everything I thought it would be. I am blown away. I am in love. Yeah. Yep.
This was my expected.
This is,
like,
yeah.
feeling. Yeah.
I like, and it was one of those things. I think if I had any like particular reaction that was not and again, I don't want that to sound entitled or like kind of pithy or dismissive of this trailer. I had to retake the picture because I was going to wear my Justice League shirt for this review, and I was going to use the other picture I have in the Nerd Academy Canva to make the thumbnail, but it was the picture I took for my Joker 2 review, and it's me just kind of going in the picture, and I was like, I don't want to take a new picture. My hair's kind of fucked up. The headphones will hide it. And then I was like, I don't want to look that dismissive in the thumbnail,
Yeah.
so I retook one. So pardon the fact that my hair looks crazy in the thumbnail. The headphones do me a lot of favors. It's like a push-up bra when I'm having a bad hair day. But it's weird. I'm like, but what I say is what I'm saying making sense.
Yeah,
Like
because
it's
I've definitely felt
exactly
that
what I thought.
before for other things. I think it's a matter of like if the same follow through that we've seen with Superman, right? We get Man of Steel, which isn't good, and then we get the Zack Snyderverse, which isn't good, and then we don't get a live action Superman movie for over a decade, and now we're getting what looks to be the Superman movie, of the modern cinema. Like, if replace Superman and everything I just said with Spider-Man, you would be losing your fucking mind. And I don't say that again. It's not like a issue, but I get it because, like, for me,
if Spidey had been like wiped from like the big screen for the past decade, you're absolutely right. And again, and I think that's where we fall back into the holy shit, it's real of it all. Like this is felt real. Like this, like from the beginning, like we did our episode that was all about the James Gunn announcement. Where we both did the I'm excited for everything. I'm a little bit like touch and go with DC films just because Gotham City Sirens, Nightwing movie that never came to fucking fruition. That we're kind of like, wait, I'll hold my breath for when there's a trailer. Fucking Batgirl. That like I was like, okay, but I trust James Gunn. I may not love every single James Gunn comic book movie. I know it's kind of like the hot take around here that I don't love Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I know I get dunked on that. I know Armin and Mitch get dunked on for that. I don't remember if you have any strong opinions about Guardians 2.
I refuse to watch it again because every time I watch it, I bawl my eyes out. Like
naturally you do, yes.
yeah, harder than I cry at most things. And so I try to avoid watching it for that reason. I haven't in a while.
I stand by what I've said before. The back half is much stronger than the front half.
I agree with that.
The back half of that movie is as good as people say it is. The front half is not. I think it's one of the. I stand by the. It's not even for me. It's not even a pacing thing. It's not even a pacing thing. It is like the James Gunn comedy in the front half is fucking brutal. Like it's just every other line is on every other emotional beat is undercut by a shitty joke in the front half of Guardians 1 or Guardians 2 rather. That like once we hit the prison break with Yondu, Groot, and Rocket onward, I think it soars. But like that said, like the Suicide Squad from 2021, like I think it's in my top 10 comic book movies of all time. And depending on,
still haven't watched it.
Seriously?
Yeah, dude, I'm lazy.
Bro, fix that.
I'm working.
Fucking fix that. This like Christmas. I mean, you say Christmas break, you don't have fucking school anymore. But like, you need to unmake that decision because it. Sorry, it is truly like it might be top 10 depending on the day, breaking top 5 maybe. Absolutely stellar. So like I always trusted it, and the more and more earnest Gunn has gotten with his filmography, like I think that we've seen I say that I think on some level trying to map Guardians is getting more and more earnest. I think might be kind of a fool's game because I think because you get into this weird like chicken egg conversation. Is Gunn getting more earnest or is he developing these characters to be more earnest? But even between Guardians 2 and Guardians 3, we have the Suicide Squad. And even there, I'm like, there is a touch of like heart, like a little bit more heart here than normal. So like you kind of follow that through line out, and I was like, yeah, Superman's the natural conclusion of this progression. Of course it is. And I watched this and I'm like, exactly, this is what I was anticipating, and I am fully satisfied with it.
Yeah, for sure. I think once again we follow the Gunn tradition of a comic book movie with like 400 characters that most people don't know much about, and by the end of it, they're all going to be like, people don't know who Guy Gardner is as a Green Lantern, and by the end, he's going to be everyone's favorite Green Lantern. Like,
God, what a world.
people know who Hawkgirl is because of the Justice League cartoon, and that's probably it. Or like maybe the Arrowverse.
Yeah.
Same with Mr. Terrific. Like, Echo Kellum did a great job in the Arrowverse, but like we haven't gotten the,
Yeah.
most things in the Arrowverse weren't quite 1-to-1 until like the very
Yeah,
end.
the T-Mask fair play jacket, like
Yeah.
it's all of it. It's all of it. And I want to like go through the trailer and kind of talk through it for a little bit. But before we do, I do want to talk about costuming. I it's no secret, I don't hide the people I watch who talk about the same things we talk about. Um, you know, I I've always said I'm a big fan of Nando V movies. I've tried to have him on the show before. He's a wonderful guy, and I love his work. It might be one of the few things I have ever like vehemently, like aggressively disagreed with Nando V movies on. Is that he's like, I'm not 100% sold on a lot of the costuming. Like, obviously, Mr. Terrific looks terrific, but like, if this is a portent of things to come for the other character designs down the road, and obviously, and I haven't watched Creature Commandos yet. I haven't had a chance to. Again, I work retail. It's the holidays. It's
Yeah.
it's a feat that I'm sitting in front of you right now. Um, the visual language and the costuming so far, and like the storytelling being told through the costuming, I think is remarkably good so far. And I am mostly Trunks agnostic, but hearing that it was David Cornsweet who was the deciding factor on the Trunks really makes me happy, because it's one of those situations where it's like, I don't hate the Trunks. I just think that more often than not, it breaks up the continuity of a suit. That is always kind of been my big thing, is that like it that it breaks up the flow of the suit sometimes, especially when it is a little bit too like underpantsy.
Yeah.
That it throws off the color, the color balance and the flow. Especially in the case of Batman, in my opinion. I have more strong opinions about Batman in Trunks than I do about Superman in Trunks. This suit implements it perfectly in a way that I was like not super expecting to be wowed by it. I think it has to do with the length. I think it has to do with the placing. I think it has to do with the shades of blue and red being used. But yeah, I am fully sold on all of the costumes and all of the costuming, and I cannot wait to see more heroes in this kind of shared art style in terms of costuming. But
Again, you mentioned like Cornsweet talking about like, I want the Trunks for this reason. And the last time we had a story like that where the actor was very like inputted on the costume was the Batman.
yeah,
Case in point, like one of the best Batman costumes in a live action movie, one of the best Batman movies. If
yeah,
not the best Batman movie.
I was gonna say, I would argue best Batman movie, best
Yeah.
Bat suit.
I also agree with that.
Yeah.
We know this.
Yeah, you guys know we love this shit, but no, and it's like, it's not one of those things that I think should like be like a litmus test necessarily, but I think for characters,
But it's a good sign.
like, yeah, it's a really good sign, and I think in some ways they're like, for Superman and Batman in particular, I think. Okay, I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to say another thing. I think that Superman and Batman have had such a public identity crisis
Mm-hmm.
that it is very heartening and very settling as a fan to hear the actors go in with like mission statements on like this is what they need to look like, this is how they need to look. Again, like, and this is where I'm going to say the other thing, and then I circle back to my original point. I think in the royal we, you, me, everybody who covers Cape shit, I think it might be time to let the Snyder discourse be over. I think that like I've seen a lot of people, namely, and I say this with nothing but love, in like the Comic Book Cast Facebook group that I'm a part of, and I hang out in, that I participate in. I've seen a lot of people, their commentary on this trailer has kind of like circled back to like, and they're doing it in the way Zack Snyder never could, and the way that Zack Snyder never could, or the way that Zack Snyder never could. And I think that on some level, that we need to stop ourselves from falling victim to using this Superman as a weapon. I am terminally and in a Stockholmy kind of way too ingratiated into Star Wars discourse to ever pull away fully. I don't want to see this Superman become the Andor of superhero movies. I do not, granted, big caveat, I would rather have people be elitist about whimsy and fun instead of insisting that media can only be taken seriously if it's dark and gritty. But like, I do not want the enjoyment of this show, or this film rather, to in any way have to like gain some of its power and momentum from the ability to dunk on a thing that we all collectively agreed we didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that on some level, I've seen people like, like the one meme I thought was hilarious. I saw in the Comic Book Cast Facebook group, and I can't remember who posted it. It might have been Nick. It might have been Skylar. But it was it was that one Mercury guy on Twitter whose like profile picture is Mr. Terrific. And it was them just crashing out over the trailer, just fully crashing out over the Superman trailer and why it was bad and why Snyder's version was so much better and why this is emasculating Superman and whatever. And they shared that screenshot, and the only caption they put on it was like in parentheses, "Last Japanese soldier." Like alluding to the whole, like that one Japanese soldier who was like, "I refuse to let World War II end," which was deeply fucking funny.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, while I disagree with a lot of like the Snyder diehards interpretation of Superman, while I don't think they fundamentally get what the character is supposed to mean, or what what the character's intended meaning is. That is the version of Superman that they hold dear. I see glimmers of how I interpret Superman in there. They're welcome to that. I don't want to engage with like screaming at the wall for people to accept whether or not Batman does, should, or should not kill. In the same way that like Superman should be a person. I think that there's just a lot of there that I'm just not interested in debating anymore.
Yeah.
Especially when it feels like that this trailer has fundamentally just demonstrably proven that yes, Superman in the modern day can be depicted in this way without a wink and a nod, without a pulling of the hopeful punch, without leaning into this like paramount struggle of am I a god or am I a man or am I something beyond those two things. I think that all of those things are integral to Superman's character, but I think when you blow them up out of proportion to other traits, as I would say it was done in the Snyder take, I think you lose the core humanity of Clark Kent. And down to the fact that, like, again, I think what we can, but at least from this trailer, we can boil down, and maybe we can revisit this when the movie comes out. This thing I'm about to say, that Zack Snyder's Superman was Kal-El, who went by Clark Kent, and it feels like this Superman is a guy born and raised as Clark Kent, who back home would be known by Kal-El. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that is a fundamental difference. I think that is kind of shown here between these two versions of the character.
That was something I was saying about Snyder. I definitely heard it somewhere else first, but like I that was the sentiment I carried about Snyder's back when I was being a lot more charitable to those movies when I was younger. Specifically Man of Steel, and I've always, you've known how my takes on BVS, but because I remember because New 52 Superman felt very similar, where it was like, and even like the animated movie universe that was coming out at that time, where like this Superman, and like we didn't really get a real Superman movie in that universe until Death of Superman. Great animated movies, go watch them. But
yes,
like this feeling of Superman is more Kal-El than he is Clark. He's more alien than he is human. Like he's wrestling with the idea of being different all the time. And Superman is at its peak. I haven't finished it. I've watched like 2 seasons of it, but Superman and Lois just finished, and that show is perfect in every way. Like obviously that's not true, but like Tyler Hoechlin, incredible as Superman. I'm excited to see David Cornsweet. I hope that he measures up to Tyler for me. And the thing Tyler nails is being Clark Kent. Like, because that's Superman is Clark. Like, he's not Kal-El. That's part of him, but fundamentally, he's a farm boy from Kansas.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Who believes in helping people and doing the best that you can. I think, again, going back to the identity crisis angle, and something that I think this trailer handles really well in the way that it's showing Clark Kent is, I think that, I think one of the few things I think the public has understood about Batman, I think they've maybe taken it in the wrong direction. And it's the interpretation I've always bought into, that Bruce Wayne is the mask that Batman wears, whatever. It's kind of a cliche at this point, but it's an interpretation we all agree on. But I think a lot of people also leaned into that, like that moment from Kill Bill 2, where Bill does the whole Clark Kent is the mask that Superman wears. No, Superman is Clark Kent turned up to 11.
Yeah.
And that is what that character is supposed to be. And then, again, I don't want to say supposed to be. I understand, like, again, I do think there is value in other interpretations, but at its core, it's meant to be, Clark Kent believes in truth, justice, and a better way, and he embodies that as Superman. And that Kal-El is like part of where he comes from. Kal-El inspires Superman, but he is Clark Kent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I am getting a lot of those vibes from this trailer. You want to go through the trailer a little bit?
I guess.
Cool. My allergies are acting up. I had to mute myself to make a very gross noise.
Oh, you got to pull it up.
Yep.
Means I can close it on mine. Oh yeah, the number of memes of the Yamcha pose.
Yamcha pose.
We love it.
I mean, again, I think that it is so important. I think that what I think is really interesting is that a lot of the people who have like boo-hooed Superman in the public image for so long are taking like I think this trailer, and I don't like to talk about like the ways that these movies and like nerd media is being made to appease fans, but I do think on some level, at least trailer material needs to exist to go, okay, this is a public criticism, let's address it.
Mhm.
You know, I work with a lot of people who are like casual fans of a lot of this shit. And anytime we're talking about our favorite super,
Uh-oh.
you know, like, oop, you good?
Yeah, I lost you. You like froze for a second, but you're good now.
Okay, yeah, we both kind of went for a moment. Um, the but a lot of the conversation comes up where they're like, oh, I don't really like Superman. It's always he's too good and he's too powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I think this movie is going to lean all the way into yes, he is so fucking good. To try to show people what that looks like. And like sell people on it by like leaning all the way into it as opposed to like leaning away from it as a previous iteration did. And I love that people who are like Superman is boring because he's too overpowered. Okay, the first thing you're going to see of this Superman is him in the fetal position. Wind knocked out of him, coughing up blood, scorched costume, wheezing for most of the trailer. Most of this trailer is scored by him going because he got the wind knocked out of him. Immediate, perfect, good, great.
Darth Vader sounding ass.
Help me take this mask off. I also, again, like I love the physicality he's bringing to Clark Kent. You know, I know that James Gunn said this is going to be kind of a modern send up to the OG Christopher Reeve film, and like I am really impressed and happy to see in 2024, you know, in an age marked by sarcasm and cynicism, and even in the most like unabashedly proud to be cape shit, um, a willingness to do something so old fashioned.
Mm-hmm.
In the like, yo, he's kind of slouchy, and he's like, "Oh boy, guys, this is Clark Kent here. I got 2 name tags because I keep losing mine." And you know, I saw a trailer breakdown that pointed out the time on the clock where he's getting there at damn near 11 a.m. It's like, bro, you work in a newsroom. There's no way you aren't at least 3 hours late.
Yeah.
You know, like stuff like that. There's just that they're like, "Oh, geez, guys, it's."
Also, the music of this trailer is phenomenal.
I heard about what this music would be a while ago, and I was like, "Oh, oh God, I hope this is true." And and then, you know, that is something I want to talk about real quick before we jump back into the trailer. How do you feel about the idea of the John Williams Superman theme being used across this iteration of Superman? Because putting it in the teaser trailer, I think, sets an expectation of its use now.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you feel about that? Because I have a like very complicated feeling about it, but I know I'm gonna ramble, so I want you to speak before I do.
Yeah, I don't have because like I'm not super tied to the old like the Christopher Reeves movies, because I'm young and spry, and so I don't. It doesn't bother me, especially when like that theme is so integrally tied to Superman. Where like if it was, I can't think of another hero that has music so deeply, except no. I was gonna say Iron Man just because the song's named after him, but it's not about him. So like, I can't think of another superhero in movies that has music so like you think Superman, that music comes into your head.
Yeah.
Like Again, I've never seen those movies to their completion. I know that song backwards and forwards.
Everybody does. Everybody does.
Right.
I think like that John, it doesn't hurt that it's a John Williams one.
Right.
That is so iconically part of the Superman lore. It's almost like it hangs in with other John Williams pieces of score that all you need to do is hear it and you're watching a movie in your head. It is the Indiana Jones. It is the Raiders of the Lost Ark march. It is the Imperial March. It is whatever. 100%. I agree with you.
Yeah. So I think not using it would be a mistake. Personally.
Okay.
Even like I don't want it to be overused, but saving it. I don't know if you intend on seeing Sonic 3, but
I haven't had a chance to. But
as someone who has never been like that into Sonic, but had like a passing awareness as a kid, I will say the music in Sonic 3 hits different for a particular reason. I don't want to spoil things for people that haven't seen it yet, but it's very fun.
I think I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Again, and I'm not a super fan, so I was like, yeah, that rules. That was really sick. And if I went into this movie and didn't hear the Superman theme, I'd be like, yeah, it was great. It was a little weird.
Oh no, we lost him for a moment.
Oh,
what
no.
were you saying?
It would feel like it was missing to me, but I wouldn't be upset if they just were completely original score. Like no, I would be okay with it not being there, but I do like, especially now that we've heard it in the trailer, like it's got to be there.
Yeah, especially in the trailer. When I heard rumblings that this music was going to be used in the trailer, that classic John Williams Superman march. My thing was, I think that you need to use it very precisely.
Mm-hmm.
And where I think that this theme could be best serviced and reiterated upon is that you have two Superman themes. You have the Superman, like when it is Superman on his own, where it is Clark Kent trying to live up to the idea of Superman, trying to be this idea. That there is his own theme. But Superman in the public eye, Superman being the thing to look up at, swooping in to save that little girl, all of that. That is where da 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 is used. That is, like, in my opinion, like, it is two separate ideas. It is Clark with the internal conflict of like, this is me to 11. I want to prove that like this is what we all can be by doing my best to be it. And that is its own thing that can be maybe not necessarily more somber, but a little bit more grounded. You can get something really cinematic, like that Hans Zimmer Superman theme that was used in Man of Steel, I think is quite good. But when the people see Superman, that is what they hear. When we see Superman fighting, be it Brainiac or Ultraman or any of the the Authority characters, any of that, that is the moment we hear burp, da, 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 da. And I think it should almost be like a payoff to like, here's Superman wanting to do it, wanting to do it, wanting to do it, wanting to do it. And in the moment he feels the people see him the way he wants to be seen, so that they can then reflect it upon themselves. That is where he feels the knowledge of this, like my mission is working, and that is like an emotional kind of like climax for it to hit. And that is where I think that music can be best served. And I think kind of like doling it out in this very, like it's there, but it never hits the like fully fleshed out sound, orchestra, whatever mix. It is understated. It's like we want you to hear this melody, but remember this is new. It's in a different key. It's on the electric guitar. I think that these are all very specific decisions being made to tee up what it should feel like when you hear this song,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I think it's going to go a long way. But back to the trailer. Oh, no tornadoes. That's good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm breaking my own rule. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So
I
like
can't sometimes. I got to do it
Yeah.
to myself.
I'm sick of being called a grifter. I'm sick.
It's different between like, yes, this is good because it's not that, and taking the piss out of it again, because I enjoy taking the piss out of it.
I also think it's a bold move to have it potentially be Ma Kent who has passed away.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's also an interesting angle. All right. How you feeling?
I was surprised we got the full shot of Crypto. I thought, because the whistle, obviously we knew what he was whistling for.
Yeah.
I thought we weren't going to see him, and then he was going to, like we might see like a shot of them flying together, like floating from the
Yeah.
back. I thought that would be it. So I'm pretty happy about this. I love the lean in, man. Like,
Yes.
yeah, this is a thing that exists. Let's make it work.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I mean, it's one of the added benefits of not doing origin stories.
Yeah.
Like if you don't start from scratch, if you start from the middle, you can start to incorporate more things. It's weird if this is if this is Superman's first adventure and he is his first adventure. It's really weird to incorporate, like, again, the Authority, the Justice Society, whatever the hell it is. Probably working for Maxwell Lord. It feels a little bloated. If Superman's been around for a while and like this society is used to metahumans, like, yeah, you should throw other people in there. And also, if you start from the middle, yeah, here's Crypto. It's the same thing. If you start Batman from the middle, yeah, you can be at least 2 Robins in.
Yeah.
And like really get some legwork out of that and be able to like really flesh out this family without having to like take all the time, to be able to write and perform in such a way that leaves a lot of that plays in the implication of interaction. And this, again, I think was such a bold and satisfyingly campy move. I press play before bringing it back up.
Home. Take me home.
Beautiful. Okay, hold up. So I want to say, if there is an actor MVP for this trailer, it's Nicholas Hoult. Like, again,
Yeah.
I bought David Cornsweet's Superman from the set photos, from the suit up picture, from the poster of him with Crypto recreating that one bit from All Star. Like, I was bought, paid, sold for, whatever. I am already getting so much of like neurotic billionaire oligarch from Holt. Like the way, like just the way that there is a piss and vinegar scowl etched into his face. And that one intense shot that it's like right here with him, and there's like a couple cuts on his head. Like I am already like I am feeling his Lex Luthor so much already. Interested by this. This might be the one thing I don't like.
Oh yeah.
I just call it LexCorp.
Yeah.
It's a nitpick. It is such a damn nitpick, but I don't like Luthor
Yeah.
Corp.
I could see a world where like they're doing the generational wealth thing again. Right? Like he
Sure.
inherits Luthor Corp, and then after this and he has to like restart, he rebrands as LexCorp.
Yeah,
You know, I could see that.
I can see it. People are saying they think it's a kryptonite bullet. I hope not. This I find interesting. There's a theory I'm seeing floating around I want to come back to. This is incredible. Okay, talk your shit.
It's perfect. It's perfect because he looks goofy, man. I love the choice. This was so specific, right? We get Nathan Fillion to specifically play not Hal Jordan. And I'm so excited. I'm excited that this is like we get a live action Green Lantern for the first time in 15, 14 years.
Yeah.
And it's goddamn Guy Gardner, bowl cut and all,
and he's got that maybe this term isn't politically correct anymore. He's got that village idiot, bowl cut. Hold up. I'm trying to get back to it and I'll pull it back on screen.
Yeah, I just
there's
ring,
the shot.
I want to see him make a construct. I want to see what the ring constructs look like. That just looks, it's so good.
Yeah.
No mask is interesting. I can't remember if Guy typically wears a mask or not.
I don't think he does.
So
I don't think he does.
John chooses not to.
Yeah.
And then Hal has his, and Kyle has his honking goggles. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like it. I also like this idea that again, the theory floating around that these heroes, be it again, Justice Society, Authority, some hybridization of them. I think it'd be cool to call them the Justice Authority. Just really smash it together. I love this idea that these guys have been kind of tapped as corporate superheroes. They're these corpos that will eventually buck Lord or Luthor or Simon Stagg or whomever, and then embrace their comic booky traditional outfits as opposed to the black and white with a hint of their core color. We see it with, I don't know if my cursor's coming up on screen, but we see it with Hawk Girl over to the left. She's got the helmet and she's got the gold accents in the jacket. In the same way that Guy has some green accents in his suit. But most of it is this very uniform black and white. And I think that there might on some level be a meta commentary about insisting on entrapping the superhero into these very uniform cookie cutter whatever. And then the liberation of you should be wearing gold, yellow, and red, and you should be wearing bright greens, and you should be wearing this crazy color. And I don't think it's an accident that Metamorpho, who looks to be imprisoned by Simon Stagg, who is probably, and that is probably aided by this Justice Society Authority, whatever, that Metamorpho is so, famous for his crazy colors, that it's orange and purple and this stark, gaunt white, that it's that in and of itself is its own, representation of allow the colorful to break through in a hopeful message. I love the kaiju fight. Fortress of Solitude coming in. Again, there was Metamorpho. We already talked about. Yeah. Oh God, that is a hater if I've ever seen one. Okay, so there was what people are thinking is Ultraman. The theory I'm seeing make the rounds is one that I am personally pretty into. That weird cell that Superman is breaking out of is. I think that Maxwell. Okay, so I think there might be like. I know Maxwell is here. We know Stag Industries is a thing, and that Metamorpho is here, so that implies Simon Stagg. I don't know if he actually got cast in the film or not. I don't remember, but we have Lord, Luthor, and Stag. We have all these. We have these three like bajillionaire oligarchs who are, always doing their thing and fucking with shit. I think Ultraman is being fed superpowers, and that we're going to find out that this Ultraman is actually Parasite. I've seen that theory floating around for a minute, and I really fucking like it.
That's good. Yeah.
Is that this Ultraman is like a hybrid of Ultraman and Parasite, and that he's being fed powers? Because again, if you go back to some of the press, or not the press, but the set photos, where it's Superman being like walked down, much like Luigi Mangione, by like hordes of armed guards. Superman is in handcuffs and he's being personally escorted with this guy holding onto his arm, who may already have strength to equal Clark's, to then make it so that is why Clark is complying. And I really think that is, I really think that is the angle here, and that is where this is going to play towards. Is that we're going to find out that this guy, Ultraman, Parasite, Ultra Parasite, whatever, is being fed powers, and all those people in lockup in those weird cells are being fed to him. I think that might be why Metamorpho looks a little decrepit.
Right, because he's been like getting sapped for longer. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously because of his powers, it would lend itself very well to kind of doubling down on what Parasite can do. So that's what I think is going on here, and I think that's what things are building towards. I don't know what to do with that big funky orb in the sky. I know a lot of people are thinking that like things are going to come down to Brainiac. That seems like a lot.
Yeah, if we get that, if it's both, that's kind of crazy.
If we have some type of, again, amalgamation of the Justice Society and the Authority, Ultraman and Parasite, Luthor, Stag, setting Superman up himself, like adding Brainiac into all of that sounds batshit crazy and kind of unmanageable, but I'm not James Gunn, so I don't know. But that sounds like a lot. But there's also the talk that Alan Tudyk is cast as somebody whom we have not heard or seen from yet. And the talk on is the hypothesis is that Alan Tudyk is Brainiac. Oh yeah, and then we get Mr. Terrific finally.
Yep.
But yeah.
So excited. So excited.
This is really good shit, man. This is really good shit. I can't wait. I fully can't wait. And you can expect to see us covering the lead up to it and obviously talking about it. But Travis, do you have any other final thoughts on the trailer before we bring this home for the year?
I need it to be July. I need it. I need it in my veins.
Dude, this and then Fantastic Four the week after. Oh, we're gonna be eating good.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like I said, this will more than likely, I promise this time, be the last upload of the year. I forgot about the Superman trailer when I said that on the holiday special. But if you guys want to get your Christmas spirit going, we have our episode talking about why Obi-Wan Kenobi is a Christmas story. So you can go check that out once we're done with this if you haven't watched that yet. Yeah, I am beyond excited for this. And thank you, everybody, for another wonderful year of the Nerd Academy. And we're looking forward to more in 2025. Year 5 of T-Nap. It's our baby's growing up fast, buddy. Our baby's growing up fast. So yeah, thank you all so very much. Thank you to all of our patrons, Paco, Ray Clausen, Keandre Lloyd, Buck O'Brien, Armin from Comic Book Cast, Eli. Thank you, all of you guys. Yeah. Travis, where can all the people find you, bud?
In the ether. I'm Twitter at the place. I made a Blue Sky. I haven't used it yet. It's not this username. If I actually start using it, I'll start plugging it. But
all right. I am also trying to use Blue Sky more. So
yeah. It's just because like I'm so used to opening Twitter. So I'm like, oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I am probably gonna be done with Twitter in the new year.
It's probably healthy.
Yeah, it's less fun anymore. And I had like my final like straw that broke the camel's back yesterday, I think. With a situation I'm not going to talk about on air for fear of low-key doxing myself. But there was a lot of disinformation floating around about a situation I was nearby yesterday, specifically on Twitter, that fueled a lot of craziness. That was like the last, that might have been my last time that I'm like, you know what? I'm done. But yeah, so go find Travis in the ether. You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky at Dark Jedi 2552. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on all of those places as well. But yeah, thank you all so very much. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we will see you guys in 2025. Class dismissed.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar.